Hi, this is Mike, WB4HUC, and I wanted to talk today about Win4IcomSuite for the ICOM radios. I have an IC7300 and I've been playing around with that software and hooking it up to different other software packages and such. And one of the things that I wanted to do was use my SDR Play RSP1A software-defined receiver as the panadapter, which is what I had been using for my Ten-Tec Omni 7 as the panadapter, and SDR Uno, which is the software that is made by SDR Play for the RSP devices. So for my Ten-Tec Omni 7, I use the N4PY software to run the radio, and the N4PY software will talk to SDR Uno for the panadapter and frequency changes and all that stuff. So I wanted to do the same thing for Win4IcomSuite, and I ran into a little, I don't know what you'd call it, not an error, not a problem, but just a little sort of characteristic, I guess I'll call it, that is different from connecting up some of the other third-party software to Win4IcomSuite, and I wanted to talk about that. So in order to so according to the manual and according to the videos I've seen, it's pretty easy to connect third-party software to Win4IcomSuite. So I'm going to go ahead and start that. And it's all ready to go. So the first thing you have to do to connect the third-party software to Win4IcomSuite is establish a serial port pair for each piece of software that you want to connect to Win4IcomSuite. Now I use VSP Manager. The author recommends COM0Com, but I've been using VSP Manager for a long time without any problems at all. So I'm just going to keep using it. And this isn't to teach you how to set up serial ports and that kind of thing. This is, I'm honing in on a specific issue of getting SDR Uno to talk to Win4IcomSuite. So there's a certain level of knowledge here I guess I'm going to assume that people have, and hopefully get through this video pretty quick. I mean, I don't need to sit here for an hour to try to explain this thing. So anyway, I've created several virtual serial ports pairs, and you can see that COM15 and COM26 are being held by Win4IcomSuite, and I have others. So serial ports are done, they're created, they're ready to go. So the next thing you would do after you create the serial ports is in Win4IcomSuite, go to Tools, Settings, Third-Party Hardware and Software, and you can see if we bring up VSP Manager again, put that over here. So for WSJTX, I'm using one pair of the serial ports, COM26, and we can see COM26, oops, here, and then COM15 for my logic logging software. So this is for WSJTX, this is for my logging software, and I'm using COM15, and we can see COM15, and it doesn't matter which port goes to which software. It's only important that you use one of the ports in the pair for one software, the other port of the pair for the other software. So that's what we have here, are these two. So if I start WSJTX, then you see that we're talking, we're on 14074, and over here we're on 14074, and if close this. And I go over here and I can change, and that will change 94, 94. I can put it back. If I go back up here to mode, FT8, it'll move it back to 14074 and move it back to 14074. So we're talking, no problem. And then my logging program. Sorry about that. I can't quite figure out how to tone that down. But same thing down here, we're 14074. And if I go to Tools, Setup, Miscellaneous Ham Setup, go to Radio Interface. These are disabled. This one's the one I'm using, COM25. And if we go over here, we have COM15. So that's the serial port pair for my logging program. And so you can see, so if I go over here, and we've changed and we've changed. If I go down here, so here we're back to 4074. So everything's working as it should. So BSP Manager's working, the software's working, everything's fine. So I'm just going to close these two since they're working. So now let's get SDR Uno hooked up to Win4IcomSuite. So I'm going to choose, whoops, holy cow, sorry. So here we're going to go back to Tools, Settings, and I'm going to use the auxiliary cat port number 3, and for fun we'll use 11 and 21. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to use 21. The baud rate will be 57,600, and we'll call this Uno, and we'll connect. So and then in SDR Uno we'll be using COM11. So we're going to save this, and we're going to refresh, and here we are. So Win4IcomSuite is using 21. So let's start up SDR Uno. So SDR Uno is set to 14.175, and we're going to go to here to settings in the receive window, the RX control window. We're going to go to settings. We're going to go here. We're already set up for COM11, and we're already set up, enabled, and connect. So we should be ready to go. We should have these two pieces of software talking to each other, but we don't. So if you go down here and change this, nothing changes. If we go up here, nothing changes here. They're not talking. I don't know why, because this is exactly the way the manual for Win4IcomSuite tells you to do it, but for whatever reason it isn't working. So let's make it work. This is something I found out with a lot of trial and error. And so here's what we're going to do. We're going to go in here to, well, we're going to shut this down. Well, let's don't shut it down. We're going to use OmniRig. So I'm going to start OmniRig, and you can see for rig 1 there's nothing here, so we're going to go ahead and set this up for the ICOM IC7300. We're going to use COM11, as you saw in the setup for SDR Uno. So we're going to use the same port. We're going to set the baud rate to 57,600, and we're going to set that. Now if we go over here and we refresh this, COM11 is now SDR Uno, which I thought it would have been OmniRig, but anyway. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go over here. That's why. So we're going to disconnect the COM device, and we're going to go over here to the OmniRig. We're going to tell it rig 1, and we're going to click these boxes, but not this one. And then we're going to go over here and we're going to tell it to synchronize the rig, and we're going to refresh. Okay, now COM11 says OmniRig. We're at 14.173. We're at 1. So now they're talking to each other. So basically all I did was put OmniRig in between SDR Uno and Win4IcomSuite. I'm not sure why I had to do that, but without it, they weren't talking, but now they are. And it works fine. It was just some trial and error to figure this out, and I didn't see any reference to having to do it this way in the Win4IcomSuite documentation or in any of the videos that the author provides to show you how to do different things with the software. So anyway, if you have SDR Uno that you want to use as your panadapter for Win4IcomSuite, this is the way that I've made it work. So if we close this and we go here, as I said, now it's working, so we can go here and you can see it change as we change. So for instance, if you want to go down and look at the CW portion of the band, so let's just do that. It's a bit tedious to tune this thing, but not really an issue. And we can change our mode to CW, and you can see we changed to CW. And we also, I've got a 700 hertz offset set, so let's just go ahead and take that out. And then we can zoom in, and now we're looking at So here's our FT8 signals, and here's our CW signals, and we're looking at a band from 14.025 up to almost 14.090. And you can see if I point and click, we move, or we can go here. So now we're working, and I can minimize this, I can X out of this, and now I have my panadapter like I wanted. And I can extend this a little bit, and I can say waterfall plus the panadapter. There we go. And there you go. So don't know why I needed to use OmniRig rather than just tying the two pieces of software together through the virtual serial ports. But it works, and it works very well. So there you go. So perhaps this will help anyone who wants to use SDR Uno, or maybe it'll work. I haven't tried it with HD SDR. It's the same principle, right? So it probably would work, although I haven't tried it. But in any case, and yeah, I know that Win4IcomSuite has its own native panadapter and waterfall built in, and I've tried to use it, but for whatever reason I don't get along with it. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. There certainly isn't, and since it's built into Win4IcomSuite, it's certainly easier to set up than SDR Uno is. But I've just always used SDR Uno since I switched to it several years ago, and I just prefer to use it. So that's all this is about. And one more comment, doesn't have anything to do with anything. This year is my 50th year as a ham radio operator. I got my novice license in 1971, and then of course once you get your ham license, you start looking at the magazines, and Wayne Green always had such good technical articles in 73 magazine. So in honor of Mr. Green, here's a cover of 73 magazine from November 1972. I don't remember, but it probably had some pretty good technical articles in it, and that's why I liked 73 magazine. Anyway, with that, I'll end this video. It's all been almost 20 minutes already. So I hope this helps someone who might be trying to get trying to use the panadapter of their choice, whether it be SDR Uno or HD SDR or whatever it might be. Hopefully this will help. Thank you for watching.